Before we get in the program, Holly, it's time for this week's joke of the week.
All right.
Funny before you even say it.
All right. So what? It's not Valentine's Day time. We don't even we're not usually on the
Yeah, we are.
I guess we are.
We're syndicated now year round.
Okay, well, Valentine's in summer.
Uh-huh.
What did one watermelon say to the other on Valentine's Day?
You heart me, no, you can't say that on the radio. Something about the seedless watermelon.
You're one in a melon.
One in a melon.
Like one in a million. One in a melon.
Uh-huh.
I like it. Anyway, this week's garden joke is brought to you by Rescue.com. American-made rescue products keep your family, home, and yard protected from pests such as wasps, hornets, yellow jackets, flies, ants, and more. Learn more at Rescue.com. That's RESCUE.com.
Summer tomato maintenance for a better crop. There's things in which we can do and we need to do to our tomatoes in order to make sure that they can last all the way through the summer and into the fall and up to the time of frost. And
so one thing I just wanted to say before we get into it is to make sure that you are using whole grain cornmeal, because we're going to talk about the maintenance part.
Yeah, we're going to get that. Yeah. So we've planted the tomatoes. They're growing. We have them caged or trellised like the Florida weave, because if you don't have your tomatoes upright, you'll lose 50% of your tomatoes right off the bat because they're going to ripen on the ground and they're going to rot, get eaten.
Some people are calling that a string trellis.
String trellis, okay. Yeah. So we've planted them. If you've not, if you're at that stage and that's all you've done, you've added some fertilizer to the hole, you've planted them, you've caged them, and you walked away. Okay, let's start right there. Go into your cupboard or go to your local your grocery store and get yellow whole grain cornmeal. It can be named brand, it's just got to be yellow. It has a beneficial bacteria of trichoderma in it that fights
the early blight.
The early blight that's in the soil.
It's like a beneficial. It's basically a beneficial combating that bad bacteria.
Right. It's early blight.
It's a fungi.
Yeah. Right. It's a. It's a fungus disease that's in the soil that when the soil splashes up on the leaves, it will gradually and progressively work its way up to the plant and killing all the leaves. So by the end of the season, you've got a plant that's got the stalk and the limbs, but no leaves, and tomatoes that are kind of ripened and the plant's dead. So just one application, a handful around the base of the plant to fight that fungus, that fungal disease that's in the soil that affects the plant. Secondly, add mulch. Whatever type of mulch you get, make sure it's a safe mulch, meaning if you've used weed and feed on your lawn, you can't use that because that's got a persistent herbicide 2,4-D.
You're talking about if you use a grass clipping.
Grass clippings.
Right. You want to make sure that they haven't been sprayed with anything, and also anything that would be like a persistent herbicide. Right. And also just, you don't want to make sure there's no weed seeds or minimal weed seeds. Don't want to use, like, say you had a back area where the grass was growing high and you let it be for a while and then you decide to trim it. You want to make sure that you're not using those weed seeds because you're just going to
trim it down, wait a couple of weeks, trim it again, and then use those.
Yeah. And you want to dry out those grass clippings. You can either shake them into the driveway or the yard.
Well, just as long as you don't put them around actually contact with the stem. You can leave a little barrel or a little area away from the stem a couple inches. You can put wet ones down.
Right.
You just don't want to have contact because then there's issues. What other kind of mulches? We've got.
You can use leaf mulch, but
we don't have leaves.
Right now. So but that's something you can plan for in the fall.
Pine straw.
Pine
needles.
You can use straw.
Just regular straw. Yeah.
You can use paper.
Shredded paper.
Yeah. Those are probably the best mulches.
Right. Those are now. If you're gonna, you don't want to use some like rubber tire chips. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do rock because this is a garden you're going to dig up. You don't want to do wood chips because of the same thing. So we've gotten those aspects covered in mulching it and trimming. We want to talk about trimming. As the plant grows, it's going to put leaves and limbs off everywhere. So the best way in order to healthily deliver the plant to the time throughout the season is trim the lower 6 to 8 leaves. Go up the stem, ground level, up the stem 6 inches, 8 inches. Leave the stem, trim everything off. And anything that's hanging off of the canopy that could potentially get splashed up with soil. Now, again, you've added whole grain cornmeal and you've added mulch to prevent that soil from splash up. And the mulch will help slow weeds and hold moisture. We always have ours on a drip irrigation system from dripworks.com. Works well. Your mileage may vary based on if you have an irrigation system. But if you're serious about, you're going to put all this effort into gardening, you want to have something like an irrigation system with a digital timer, or you hook up Wi-Fi.
Now, if you are, if it's your first year and you're like, I'm just seeing how things go. I started with, a 4x4 area or some containers, whatever. Don't feel that way if you want to give a little bit of time to see how things go. But if you are, you're like, I'm going to do this. I want to do this year after year. I would highly recommend getting the irrigation system as soon as possible.
Right.
Yeah.
And now, if you don't have an irrigation system currently and you're manually watering, or you're letting nature water by rain, if you know it's going to rain tomorrow morning and you've got some tomatoes on the vine that are kind of getting close to ripe, go ahead and pick them.
Like a big rain.
Big rain, yeah. Because what happens is, if you're not watering regularly, or water is being distributed to the roots regularly, what occurs is when it rains, that plant is thirsty and it's going to suck up all the water it can, to the point where it's absorbing so much water and putting it into the fruit that the fruit skin cannot expand quick enough. You'll get cracking at the top, and in some instances, the tomato will actually explode because there's too much water inside of the tomato.
Right.
So, in addition to that, we always harvest ours about 3 days before they're actually ready to harvest, meaning the tomato changes color from the bottom around. So yeah, you'll have to kind of look underneath, but if you see the pigmentation beginning to change, it's okay to harvest it. Bring it inside, put it on the windowsill, save from little hands or neighbors or cats or dogs or raccoons from knocking it off the vine, whatever the case is. So there's nothing wrong with harvesting it early.
No, and ideally, if you don't have to harvest early, you don't want to, but 3 days early it's not going to make a huge difference.
But you want to make sure, if the tomato you're harvesting is supposed to be red, harvest it, or yellow, or pink, or green. Yeah, if you got a green zebra, or
even that whitish color.
Yeah, a giant white.
Yeah,
that's where you kind of want to, why is this not changing red? Oh, it's white. No, we got to pick it. So that is some things there. And then regularly harvest your tomatoes. From the time the tomato flowers on a cherry tomato to the time it's ready to harvest, that cluster, it's about 20 days. On a beefsteak, big tomato, it's about 30 days. So you can kind of time that out. And we'll get into the sucker thing real quickly. A sucker is an additional growth that comes out of a junction of the plant.
The junction will be between the main stalk and then a vine or branch.
Let's say you put your arm up in the air, like in your armpit, another piece of
plant. Or out of your neck.
Out of your neck,
yeah.
Many people swear that you need to cut that off because that's taking energy away from the plant. We do not do that, and the reason why we choose not to do that, one, it's time consuming, and two, we've left that sucker alone, and it has grown to a limb and leaf and actually created more tomato flowers, and we get more tomatoes off that because we didn't sacrifice that sucker on the plant.
Absolutely. So, and if you have just a couple tomato plants and you want to do that, go ahead. But otherwise, you can just leave them and they'll be just fine.